broke my ankle at the end of that sprint, was running up and tried to stop my momentum, jumped up against the wall and snapped my medial malleolus at the end of that sprint. That was just 4 weeks before the World Championship, so I had to get immediate surgery and was able to recover pretty quickly and go out there and win actually my third consecutive world title. So it was good. Everything worked out well for me. But other than that, I just want to thank your coaches for allowing me to be here today. I think it's an honor, even though I'm necessarily your peer. It's just awesome for me to be able to have a chance to come and talk to you ladies. I know I get a chance to watch you compete very often. I've actually got a chance to go to school with one of your coaches, and Dominique Kelly, and I'm just happy to be here. So actually I took a list of things in my cell phone that I wanted to talk about to you ladies. So it was good stuff. I'm a big motivational guy. I love to listen to motivational speeches and all that type of stuff. So that's huge for me, and that's something that's really helped me progress in my career. So some of the things I wrote down, I listed them 1 through 5. So if you guys take notes, feel free. If you don't want to, that's fine too. You can just listen. But number 1, the first most important thing I think to being successful is giving effort. Effort is always number 1 for me. And that's something that's really easy to do. It's tough to give your 100% effort on a daily basis, but it's really easy because it takes absolutely no talent to give your all. So as many as you guys have come from all different parts of the country, Riverside, California, Middleburg Heights, Ohio, I looked up a couple of your bios, a couple of places, Alliance, Nebraska, Jordan Hooper. Yeah, so I've looked up all those places, and I looked up some of you girls' accomplishments and some of the things you've done in the past. I know that you were the best from where you come from. So whether it was your high school, your middle school team, you were probably the best girl on your team coming up, and that's why you're recruited here to come to Nebraska. But at this point, you come into such a concentrated pool of women that everyone's good. Everyone's the best for where they've come from. Everyone's got good jumpers, good hook shots. Everyone's good in the post, and that's what's important. You got to separate yourself from every other woman in this room. And even though we're teammates and we want to have camaraderie, in order for you girls to succeed and reach a higher level of success, you got to compete with each other on a daily basis. So if that means going in the post, you know, and having to elbow Jordan Hooper when she's going in for a shot, that's what you got to do. If that means giving a hard foul on a lady when she's coming in for a fast break, that's what you got to do. So that's one of the things I wrote down. Second thing is being an individual. I know as a team sport, a lot of you girls are worried about what your teammates are doing. Is she going to bed on time? Is she going to class? Is she doing her homework? But for me, the biggest thing was always worrying about myself. When I go out there and I become the best Jordan Burroughs I can be, in part, that just makes the team better. So collectively, we become a better team when you work on being the best individual possible. So I'm going to work on my jumper after practice. I'm going to shoot a bunch of jump shots after practice and a bunch of free throws. So the better I become, the better Jordan Hooper you become, the better Dominique Kelly you become, the better you become as a team. So you work on yourself individually, you're worried about everything you need to do, and then you can become a better team collectively. Number 3, sacrifice and commitment. This is one of the most important things for me is sacrifices. So I'm 25 years old, graduated from high school in 2006, graduated from the University of Nebraska in 2011, and I've been away from home for 7 years. So this is my 7th year away from home. I'm originally from New Jersey, and I've spent a lot of time on my own. So I recently just got married. I got married in October, and that's one of the biggest sacrifices I had to make as well. So me and my fiance, we were engaged for 7 months before we actually got married. So she just moved here to Lincoln in October, and it was crazy because we were engaged for 7 months, but we only saw each other once a month. So imagine having a fiance that you only get to see for once a month because you're training to become the best athlete in the world. So that's one of the biggest sacrifices I've had to make, is seeing the woman that I love, the woman of my dreams, only once a month while I'm in Italy, while I'm in Belarus, while I'm in Bulgaria, training, competing, and making sacrifices. So I haven't been able to spend holidays with my family. I hardly see my family. I see my family maybe once or twice a year. I've only been home for Thanksgiving once since I left from high school, and those are one of the sacrifices I have to make. So basically the question is, just like I said in the video, what are you willing to give up now to become what you want to be? You know, you want to make it to the WNBA, you want to play at a higher level than this, you want to win Big Ten championships, you want to win NCAA championships, you want to go to the tournament. It starts now, because people only see what you do on the court. They don't really see days like these. They don't see the days where you're grinding, where you're putting in the work, where you're freaking running sprints, where you're sweating, where you're crying because you don't know if you're going to get that starting spot. These are the days where you grind and where you become the best athlete you can be. So when I step out on the wrestling mat, people see me like, oh, Burroughs, he's awesome. He shoots doubles. He's in great shape. But they don't really see all the times I woke up at 6 a.m. to run sprints. They don't see all the times I went to bed at 10 o'clock because I had to wrestle the next day, or all the days I had to push away meals because I had to make weight that afternoon. So those are the important things that you really don't get a chance to see, but I know that you guys are doing. All your teammates know that you're doing, so just remain extremely supportive with each other through that entire process as well. So one of the next things, number 4, is believe. I think that's one of the most important things. I actually have it tattooed on my chest, is believe. It's all about having belief. You have to believe before you actually accomplish or achieve anything that you can be the best. So before you can win a Big Ten championship, before you can make it to the NCAA tournament, you have to believe that you can do it. But not only believe, you have to put in the work. You can't just dream and say, "Oh, I want to be NCAA champ. It's just going to happen." You gotta put the work in. You gotta grind. You gotta play hard. You gotta do all the necessary things, setting small goals, reaching those small goals, and then setting your goals higher. So for me, everyone always asks me, "All right, now you're Olympic champ. You're 2-time world champ. What do you do next? How do you stay motivated through this entire process?" So for me, it's all about, what do you play for? What do I wrestle for? I wrestle for my family. I want to take care of my family, and every day, my main goal is just to be the best wrestler possible. So I wake up in the morning, I get to do what I love, make a living out of it. My family gets to travel overseas and see me compete. So it's awesome. It's just way beyond me. It's easy to let myself down, but it's hard to let my family down, hard to let my country down, hard for you girls to let the University of Nebraska down. So that's one of the most important things. And one of the next things is be prepared. Be prepared. You always have to be prepared for any situation that comes your way. Whether you're playing a girl that's trash talking you the whole game, don't even give in to it. She's trying to throw elbows and foul you and commit flagrant fouls and technical fouls. Don't even give in to it. One of the biggest things for me is having a high ability to forget and having that tunnel vision. So whether a guy's being dirty, he's pulling on my singlet, he's hitting me in my face, I'm always staying focused, because the task at hand is to go out there and compete at a high level. When you girls go out and compete at a high level, you'll be able to be successful. When you let winning and losing come into the picture, that's when you're letting your ego come into the entire game. You don't want to let your ego come into the game. So basically the main thing is you go out there and compete at a high level, you shoot a high free throw percentage, a high field goal percentage, you make people work for every single point, you're going to be hard to beat. You're going to be really hard to beat. Next thing is, you can be the best. You got to believe you can be the best. I think that Connie Yori, she's an awesome coach, man. I've seen her do it. She's done it. She's been to the tournament. She's won conference championships. She's one of the best at what she does. So the last thing I put there is buy in. You got to buy in to your coach's philosophy. And I think that's really important, is you got to actually buy in to everything she tells you. So my head coach, the head coach here at the University of Nebraska, his name is Mark Manning. He's been coaching me for the last 7 years. He's been in my corner at the Olympic Games. He's in my corner at each of my world championships. And it's been huge because I've established a relationship with him. That's basically, it's like a father-son relationship. And that's what I know Coach Yori wants to do with you ladies. So this isn't just a hobby for her. She doesn't just do this for fun. She wants to put you in the best position so you can win every single game. So buying in, it means buying into that philosophy that she's teaching. So for me, even though I think my coach is crazy sometimes, even though I don't want to do a lot of stuff that he tells me to do, he's like, all right, after practice, 10 sprints. I'm like, we just got done with practice. I'm tired of not sprinting. He's like, get up, 10 sprints right now. And as crazy as it sounds at the time, when I'm standing on top of that podium at the Olympic Games with that gold medal around my neck, it feels awesome. It feels amazing. When you girls are standing on the basketball court at the end of the season hoisting that Big Ten championship trophy, it's going to feel amazing. So as crazy as Connie may seem, and Jen and Dominique, at the end of the day, they're putting you in the best position possible to be the best athletes, the best basketball players, the best young women that you can be. So you got to buy into that philosophy and actually believe that everything she says works. So I have a question for you. So if you were listening to Connie and she told you that if you did everything she told you to do for the entire year, that you'd be NCAA champions, how many would do it? By a show of hands. She guaranteed you that you win an NCAA championship by doing everything that she said. Would you do it? Would you do everything she said?
Yes. Would
you wake up at 6 o'clock every morning and run sprints if you knew you were going to be NCAA champ at the end of the year? Would you do it? Exactly. I would do it as well. I mean, that's just me. I want to be a person that buys into that philosophy, and it's really important because she's going to put you in a position to do that. And even though there's no promises, that's a tough thing. It's all about having courage. Courage is going out there every single night, not knowing if you're going to win or lose, not knowing if you're going to score as many points as you hope to score, but going out there and competing at a high level and hopefully making the things that you dreamed of come true. So at this point, I just want to take any question that you ladies have for me. So if you have a question for me about anything, athletics, the Olympics, world championships, wrestling, marriage, I'll be more than happy to answer. So I heard you guys have a big game coming up this weekend, right, against Creighton? Yeah, that's awesome. I'm excited for you girls. And one of the biggest things for me also is having that ability to forget. I know I mentioned this before, is having that ability to forget. So I know you guys probably didn't play as well as you hoped last year. You didn't come away with the victory like you wanted to. But that's the important thing, is forgetting about last year. Basically, my mindset going into this game is, oh, we played Creighton last year. You know what I mean? It's a big game. It's a huge game, but you always have to keep it within yourself. You can't let it get outside of what it actually is. At the end of the day, it's a basketball game. So how many times have you shot a basket? How many times have you shot free throws? How many times have you played in basketball games? I've wrestled since I was 5 years old. So regardless of the status of this match or how good my opponent is or how many people are going to be in the stands, I always recognize that it's just a wrestling match. You take away all the people, you take away the huge arena, it's just a wrestling match. It's just a basketball game. You've done it for years. You've done it for hours. You've put the time in. You've put the work in. That's an important thing. You always have to remember that. Never let it get bigger than it actually is. So it's a big game. Yeah, it's Creighton Prep. But you guys are going to beat that school. And I know that you guys are going to beat that school because I know what you guys are capable of. I've seen the coaches do it. I know they put you in the position to be the best athletes possible. And remember, it's a big day, but it's only as big as you make it. So don't allow the anxiety and the pressure to get to you, because that drains you. It's draining. It's super draining. I remember going out there for matches where I'm like, man, I'm tired and I haven't even competed yet. It's because I put so much pressure on myself that I want to win. I haven't lost a wrestling match since 2009. I haven't lost a wrestling match since 2009. I was a two-time NCAA champion. Won the NCAAs my senior year, 2011. Then won a world championship in 2011. Won the Olympics in 2012, and then just won the world championships again in 2013. So since I graduated from college, I'm 67-0 on the international scene. I was 35-0 as a senior here at the University of Nebraska. So there's always a tremendous amount of pressure on me, a lot of pressure, because everyone wants to be the first person that can beat me. It's like, who can knock Burroughs off? Who can beat that guy? You know. So what I do is I try to realize and recognize that if I just worry about each individual match, that's how I progressively become better. If I worry about being 100-0, I'll probably never make it to 70-0. If I worry about being 68-0 and 69-0 and then 70-0, that's how I continuously get better. So for me, it's all about grinding, going up in the wrestling room, giving 100% effort on a daily basis. I want to work as hard as I can. I want to run as fast as I can. I want to listen to my coaching staff. I want to be supportive of my teammates. I want to be a team leader. I like leading by example. The best way to teach people is to lead by example. The best way for Jordan Hooper to be a leader is to go out there and go to class every day, get good grades, come in here, grind at practice, go to study hall afterward, and just be a great team leader. You know, so leading by example is huge. Doing your thing on the basketball court is huge. Encouraging each other every single day. I've seen you ladies in the weight room. Women love to encourage each other when they're lifting. I've seen the ladies scream for each other, like, lift that weight, girl. So it's awesome. It's awesome. But it's really cool, man. I love the support group that you guys have here at the university, and I'm happy to be here. This is a great town, great city, great university, and that's why I remained here. I could have had many options of where I wanted to go and train after I graduated from college, but I decided to stay here. It's a great place. I love representing this university. We're tight in the community here, and it's just an awesome place to be. So when you step in here, you represent the University of Nebraska, you have to realize that this is way bigger than yourself. You know, that N on the front of your jersey is a lot more important than the name on the back. So that's what's important, and once again, if you ladies have any questions for me, feel free to ask.
There's Shaka.
What's up, Coach?
So, this is kind of an athletic trainer question,
Yeah.
but when you broke your ankle a month before World Championships, like, how mentally do you prepare since you physically can't?
It was tough. So, like I said, right after that sprint, I was trying to win. It was crazy. You know, I was trying to win the sprint. We had a 55-kilo guy, which is 121 pounds. We were racing, trying to win the sprint. And basically, at the end of the room, there was just wrestling mats and then a wall. So instead of just stopping and coming to a stop with my hands, I went to jump up on the wall to stop myself and stop my momentum. And basically just snapped my ankle, broke my medial malleus 4 weeks before the World Championships. So I'm like, oh crap, what the heck did I just do? So then at that point, I'm like, well, am I going to be able to compete? They told me the regular time period for recovery was 6 to 8 weeks. But we only had 27 days. So I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So went to the doctor. He was like, do you want to compete? I'm like, yeah, I would love to compete. Like, this is my well-being. This is what I do. This is my passion. And he was like, all right, so I'll put some screws in there, some plates, and basically stabilize it so you'll be able to compete. He's like, if you rip it out, then just come back after World Championships, we'll fix it back up again. So I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. So he put a plate in my ankle. I still have it in there. Plate in there, 5 screws. And I came back home. So I couldn't train, really. I couldn't wrestle, get on the mat, drill, do any of that stuff. So basically what I did is I rode the bike every day. So I had a cast, a huge cast on my ankle, and I was on crutches for 2 weeks. So I couldn't even walk for 2 weeks. People were like, aren't you supposed to be wrestling the World Championships? Why are you on crutches? And basically what I did for the first 2 weeks is I rode the bike, but I couldn't even use my feet because my ankle hurt so bad. So basically I put my feet up on the bike and I would just use my arms. So on the Airdyne, I did all arms, 20-minute goes, sprints, and I'll hop off the Airdyne, do rope climbs, pull-ups, push-ups, curls, stuff like that. So really, at the end of the day, there's always stuff you can do. You know, so if you're injured, you're not feeling well, you're fatigued, there's always stuff you can do to improve. So it doesn't matter if you have a broken leg, broken hand, broken arm, you can always do stuff to improve. So I had a great supporting staff, great encouragement from my coaching staff, from my wife, from my family. They were like, man, you're going to be able to compete. You'll be all right. And I'm like, I don't know if I'll be able to do it. I still can't even walk yet. So basically after that process, so I finally got back on my feet. I began drilling. They gave me some meds to kind of take the pain off. And I got back on the mat basically a week before I actually competed. So I got back on the mat a week before I competed, flew over to Hungary, Budapest, Hungary, where the World Championships were this year. And I had to really prove myself to our head coach. So our head coach name is Zeke Jones. He's a national team coach of United States Wrestling. And he was like, I know you broke your ankle. I was there when you broke your ankle, but we have the number 2 guy. He's ready to compete. We got to know for sure that you're able to wrestle at a high level. So he's like, all right, I want to see you wrestle. So he gave me an opponent. He was like, here, I want you to drill with him. I want you to wrestle with him. Show me that you can wrestle. So I wrestled around with him, beat up on him a little bit, and he was like, all right, you're ready to go. So I went out there, competed, won 5 matches, and won my 3rd World Championship. So it was a crazy story. Crazy stuff. It was insane, but it was